I'm a great believer in the concept of service leadership. I think the motto of Sandhurst, the military academy, serve to lead. The motto of the Indian military academy, where Indian officers are trained, is the honor, safety and welfare of your country comes first. Safety and welfare of the troops you command comes second always and every time, and your own safety and comfort comes last always and every time. And I think if a leader can follow service leadership, then people will follow the leader. I do feel that being in business, being an entrepreneur, is one of the luckiest things you could do, because it's endless opportunity and blue sky, and you're in control of your own destiny. And you have to be innovative and creative, and I find that extremely exciting. The whole idea of coming up with a product like Cobra Beer that didn't exist before, against all the odds, and then making it happen, building a team, partnering with everybody who works with you. It's just brilliant. It's a journey, and it's fun, it's challenging, and it's constant, restless innovation and creativity. And I think that's wonderful and exciting. And the ability to change things and really make a difference in people's lives. And in my case, I'm very lucky because I produce a product that people love and genuinely enjoy, which didn't exist before. I think that a good leader, yes, needs to inspire, quite often needs to lead from the front, but a good leader always listens. And if you don't listen, you can't lead. And I think that that aspect of leadership, of listening, but also learning. And when you listen, you learn, but also a leader needs to continually self-improve. In my case, I discovered 8 years after I started in business the concept of lifelong learning. And I attended the Cranfield School of Management and did the Business Growth Program, became an alumnus of Cranfield. Then I attended the London Business School, did a 5-year course there on an entrepreneurial growth program, became an alumnus of the London Business School, and then I attended the Harvard Business School and did a 9-year program, the President's Program in Leadership, became an alumnus of the Harvard Business School. And to this day, I've been going back to Harvard every year for a week as a refresher to continue to learn. So I think that learning never stops all through your career as a leader. When you look back on one's life or career, there are many situations where there are forks in the road and you could go one way or the other way, and your whole destiny changes. In my case, there was a time when I was leaving school where I was thinking of joining the army, like my father and my grandfather. And I was very tempted to do that, having been brought up as a child in the army environment. But I decided to go down the business route. When I went down the business route, I qualified as a chartered accountant with EY, with Ernst & Young. I did a law degree at Cambridge University. I could have practiced as an accountant. I could have become a lawyer. Or I could have gone into merchant banking, investment banking. But I decided to become an entrepreneur. So it's those decisions you make at those junctions in your journey that can change your life. And I think looking back on it, I'm so glad that I came up with this idea for Cobra Beer when I was a student at Cambridge. And I decided after I finished my studies to put that idea into action and went and embarked on the entrepreneurial journey. It's always difficult making these decisions. And the timing of when do you become an entrepreneur, and I believe the younger the better. In my case, I was 26 years old. I had no responsibilities, no family, mortgages, or children, or any responsibilities whatsoever. So I could lose everything in that sense. But the most important thing is I had my education to fall back on. And I had the benefit of my education. Being a law graduate and a qualified accountant came in very handy in my business and in every aspect of the business. And when you start in business, there are just in my case, there were two of us, my business partner, Arjun Reddy, and I. And we had to do everything. Keep the books, do the marketing, the sales, raise finance, everything. So that experience is invaluable, but now I've got a joint venture with Molson Coors, one of the largest brewers in the world, a $20 billion company, and yet every part of the business I ever go to in Molson Coors, whether it's on the floor of the brewery or whether it's with the sales force, I've been involved in that part of the business myself. I've done it all myself, and that is just such an advantage to have. The most important aspect is attitude. It's the attitude that counts more than anything else. We hire for will rather than skill. Ideally both, but it's the will that matters more than anything. Some agencies express this in terms of potential. Is the person curious? Are they determined? Are they going to go the extra mile? Those are the sort of people who are the best. And I've had people like that. I've been very lucky who've been with me in the most extreme case for over 2 decades by my side. And without them, I wouldn't be here talking to you because they've stood by me through all the ups and downs of building a business. And then when you can get attitude and loyalty combined, an amazing performance, that's unbeatable. With hindsight, you can always say, well, I wish I'd done that, or I could have done that, or I shouldn't have done that. And I think it's best not to regret, but if you look back at the position that I was in, £20,000 in student debt to pay off, no experience in the beer industry, never sold a bottle of beer in my life, and yet I wanted to make the finest ever Indian beer and make it a global beer brand. That was my mission, and that was my mission, and it's my mission today. And it takes guts, and I think there's no shortcut to having the guts to do it, because a lot of people have ideas. How many of them actually go out and try and make them happen? And even more importantly, I've noticed with successful entrepreneurs is they have the guts to do it in the first place, but they also have the guts to stick with it when others would give up. And I think that's what one's got to be prepared for on this journey, is it's never going to be easy. Things often take longer than you think they will take, but if you're determined, you will make it. And the best definition of luck is when determination meets opportunity. If you're not determined, you will not even see the opportunity. If you're determined, you might just see that opportunity. I'm very privileged to be the Chancellor of the University of Birmingham and the Chair of the Advisory Board of the Cambridge Judge Business School, and also the President of the UK Council for International Student Affairs, representing the 450,000 international students from around the world, including 180,000 from the European Union. And I think our British universities are the best in the world, along with the United States of America. I think anyone studying at our universities is getting the best of the best, world-class education. And it is such a strong foundation for life. In fact, it doesn't matter what you're studying at university, as long as it's a subject that you genuinely enjoy. I'm a great believer in you follow your passion, not your pension. And if you enjoy what you're doing at university, if you make the most of that university environment, the friends you meet, often lifelong friends, people you meet from around the world, that will again make generation-long friendships around the world. And then the extracurricular activities that you've got around you, let alone today, entrepreneurship is at the heart of just about every British university. The entrepreneurial societies at many universities are the biggest societies in the university. The business schools that didn't exist before. Harvard Business School was founded in 1908. Cambridge University has been around for 800 years. It only started as business school 26 years ago. So we've now woken up as a country to entrepreneurship. When I came to this country in the early 80s, entrepreneurship was looked down upon. It was Del Boy, second-hand car salesman. Today, London is one of the most entrepreneurial cities in the world. Britain is one of the most entrepreneurial countries in the world. Our universities now have entrepreneurship at the heart of the universities, not just for the business school students, but for the whole university. And I would encourage students at every university in our country to engage with entrepreneurship when they're at university, to get exposed to entrepreneurship, to come and listen to entrepreneurs who come and tell their stories, share their successes and share their mistakes and learnings, and then be inspired to one day be entrepreneurs themselves. And even if they're not entrepreneurs themselves, they will work with a more entrepreneurial attitude in whatever they're doing in life. There are many opportunities now at universities, including at the University of West England, to start your own business. And I think that's great, because it's not just learning the theory, but actually getting an opportunity to put it in practice with all the support around you to help you do that. The only caveat is, those who go down that journey, make sure you finish your studies. And there are the Bill Gates who dropped out of Harvard and the Michael Dells who dropped out of Texas, but finish your studies and then carry on with your idea, because then you have your education behind you, which you can always be proud of, which will always come in use, and in a downside is there to fall back on. I'm the third generation in my family to be educated in the UK from India. Both my grandfathers, my mother, my mother's brother, and now I've been educated here, and now my son is at a British university. So 4 generations from my family. And what happens with international students is you build generation-long links with countries that they come from. They enrich the experience of our domestic students, who again learn from the international students, learn about different cultures, and often will go and visit their friends from other countries and therefore broaden their horizons. And then there's the money. International students bring in, directly or indirectly, £14 billion into our economy. It's one of our biggest export earners. And then the European Union. Out of the 450,000 students, international students, 180,000 are from the European Union. Our academics at universities, most of our top universities, 30% of the academics are from abroad. Often 18 up to 20% are from the European Union. So in terms of whether it's money, whether it's enrichment, whether it's broadening horizons, whether it's building bridges, generation-long bridges, international students are also one of the strongest elements of soft power Britain has. At any one time, there are 30 world leaders who've been educated at British universities. So it's something that our universities are all the better for. We have the best universities in the world in the UK, along with the United States of America. We wouldn't be without the international students and international academics that make our universities so great.